Today, I thought I'd visit the art gallery here in Yekaterinburg. Why don't you come join me?
Okay, I guess this is the hall we're looking for. It's clear that there's some good stuff in here, that's for sure. I'm going to find some interesting stuff today. Now this one's interesting because this is when they were trying to eradicate the kulaks in the class war of the late 20s, early 30s. So they're portrayed here as sort of living a good life at the expense of the poor peasants. I guess this has to be the first masterpiece we've come across. I mean, just look at it. And for those of you with sharp eyes, you'd have noticed Comrade Stalin there as well. From this angle you can really see how it sticks out. It's an amazing panel, it really is. So you can tell from the script, and even more so the headgear, that it's obviously focusing on one of the Soviet republics in Asia. Now this is a very well-known face from the 1930s in the Soviet Union. Stakhanov, the best work in the whole country before a shift here. A hero of labour, an example to all the other Soviet citizens. Socialist realism is all about glorifying just everyday workers, people doing everyday jobs, like a train driver here. Looks like Brzezinski there, the first head of the secret police. Now this is interesting because you can see by the early 30s, while in the West women were still chained to the kitchen, in the Soviet Union they were out working, doing heavy labour in the factories. Well, I mean, what an absolutely excellent first haul. If the rest of it is as good as this, then we're in for a treat. Group of young people there outside what looks like probably was a culture palace in the background. I doubt we'll be seeing any explicit art of Stalin today, but we'll probably see him in the background quite a lot. It's the second time already. Okay, this is a very well-known piece. I've seen this reproduced lots of times. An exhibit here from the wartime, showing how the Urals really supported the war effort. An awful lot of the tanks and other things were made here, sent to the front. A group of geologists here on an expedition. I really like this painting behind me on the outskirts of the city from the early 60s. an excellent sculpture here of a peasant woman. You can see just carved out of a huge chunk of wood. This piece is quite interesting. It must have been one of the last pieces of art from the Thaw period, judging by both the date and the theme. An atmospheric piece here. So, well, I'm sure you've agreed that we've seen some absolute masterpieces today, haven't we?